the Rotarian who's bought them could introduce them. So Anthony Scott, where are you, Anthony? Oh, hi.
I'd like to introduce Prashanta, who's been here now several times.
Thank you, welcome. And secondly, Hewitt, you have a guest with you today.
Thank you, President Kelly. I'd like to introduce Fergus Ryan, who is my nephew, who is visiting New Zealand from the newspaper Thunder.
Welcome. And now if I could ask Rotarians who have either been offshore or who are about to go, if they'd like to stand, please, so that we can... William, you're always away or coming back, so you might like to put lots of money in the envelope or the saucer, and all the rest of you, welcome back, or if you're about to go, we'll enjoy some of your lunches. Thank you. And we have some birthdays: Peter Bushnell, Keith Newell, Daniel Simons, Lee Johnson, William Somerville. That's again William. And I know. But you weren't here last week because we didn't have Rotary, so we're looking forward to...
I had a lovely birthday in Columbia.
And Roger Drummond. So if each of those people so named, if they're here, could put some money in the sunshine box. And now could I invite Martin to lead us for the side?
Well, I'm going to follow on from Kerry's start in terms of travel and other such things. We'll have a few quick fire starts. First of all, could I have anybody stand up who has not travelled overseas? Oh, come on, sit down, Chris. No, ever. So you can sit down. That means you can all start by paying. I'd like those who did not travel in 2015 to put money in the box. They must have plenty of money saved up if they haven't gone away. And thinking about the woes in the world, since 9/11, I'd like anybody to stand up who's been to Iraq, Syria, Turkey, France, or the USA. Oh, we're going to collect a lot of money out of that one. Please put money in the box. How are we going, Francis?
I'm trying to get the Beckwith away.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how he operates this.
Okay. Well, yes.
Why did you name those countries specifically?
Well, there are countries where there's been problems, bombings. I have to say bombings in all of those. I could add a few more as well. Fair enough. So, a couple of questions about exotic travel. Where or what is the Altiplano? Altiplano. He's been there. It's the most extensive high plateau on Earth in Bolivia. Stretches the size of Lake Taupo and it's like a salt plain. Where or what is Kadang La? You can't answer that one. India. Thank you, James. Bit more?
Little India. Please.
Let Wayne. Absolutely. The highest motorable road in the world, higher than Everest Base Camp, on the border between Ladakh in India and China. And those people who've been there can put in a lot of money. Or those people whose husbands have been there can put in a lot of money. That must be you. What's common to Serengeti, Zanzibar and Mount Kilimanjaro?
I've been there.
We're in Tanzania.
Thank you. Who was that?
That was me.
That was you, Jeff. Thank you. Everybody else can put money in. The answer is they're all in Tanzania. The Serengeti is a beautiful game park with lions, zebra, elephants, wildebeest.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah. Zanzibar was the staging point for slaves to go from Africa to America. It's got lovely exotic beaches. And Kilimanjaro is the highest peak in Africa. And anybody who's been to Kilimanjaro, more money from Kerry. Now, just while we've got that one, who built this and why? I heard Shah Jahan. Yes, for his dead wife. Some interesting facts about it. She was his third wife and died at the ripe old age of 39, giving birth to their 14th child. So anybody who hasn't built a mausoleum like that for their loved one, please put money in. Took 20,000 men and 22 years to build. Rather amazing place, and if you haven't been there, also please put money in. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, a must-see place. One more, thanks Francis. Where and what is this? Some of us can see at the bottom. Kerry's nice and close. It's the Tokyo subway. It is the most comprehensive urban railway in the world. There are 13 lines, 285 stations, and 304 kilometres of track. The daily usage is 8 million passengers. I think we need one of those in Auckland. Quite an amazing place. Believe it or not, very easy to get around. So, another one at a bit more personal level of some of us who flatted together in my flat in London. Heather, Lee, Kerry, Karen. We had a 1-bedroom flat in West Kensington. 6 of us living there, dodging the IRA bombings. Yes, it was President Kerry. We had a great time. So if you haven't flatted with another Rotary member, then please pay up. Another.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
I'm open to bribery for telling you more.
We're
So
very young.
we were very young. We're still very young. Now, a little question. I'd like anybody to stand up who rides a real bike. Oh, that's good. As in motorbike. And I'd like to stand up those who've ridden bikes of any sort overseas. That's great. All the rest can pay, please. And as part of biking trips overseas, one of our trips to India, in fact, the only biking trip we did to India, I had the great pleasure of doing one thing I've never done before, never done since, sharing a double bed with another bloke. Was it Nigel? Was it Dave? Was it Ralph? Or was it Chris? If that's the case, then everybody else can put money in. Yes, you're quite right. It was Chris.
Pete's jealous. He's the only one who slept with Chris.
Well, I think that if you haven't shared a double bed, if you haven't shared a double bed with a person of the same sex, put money in. And there's a little photograph of the day, and you may see a little puff of white smoke. That's the Pakistanis shelling us. Quite an amazing photograph. There's one bike that's facing back towards us, a guy with a red helmet who was saying, "I'm out of here." Once again, that same Mr. Parkin.
I've been scouting.
So I'll skip the last one, but I'll just have one more little question. Was there anybody in Christchurch yesterday? William, you don't have to pay for that one, but everybody else can. Everybody else can pay in support of those dear people in Christchurch. Thank you.
Well done, Martin. Thank you very much. Now, before I ask Martin Matthews to take us through a membership forum, I thought I perhaps should have at the beginning of the meeting given Patrick McCardle's apologies, and you'll have noted Francis sitting up here. And for those of you who don't know, Patrick's clearly got a lot of spare time because I'm getting several emails a day. But for those of you who don't know, he collapsed with a cardiac arrest, and he happened to be with someone who was able to perform CPR, and he's been in hospital ever since, so it's just the last few days. I'll read you an email I got yesterday, I'm sure he won't mind, and the one I got this morning. "Hi Kerry, I feel normal now, so they're going to throw me out of my fancy room. They just finished telling me I would be on a no salt, no sugar, no fat diet for life, and then breakfast turns up: porridge, sugar, fruit, toast and margarine. They probably won't let me out for Monday." Up until yesterday, I was wandering around in a hospital gown with my arse hanging out and didn't even think about it. Today, I smelt myself and asked for a towel and had a shower and put on my normal clothes. It's amazing how our subconscious mind knows what to prioritise, but embarrassing later when you're reminded what you did. So I made a few comments back. So he's been emailing me several times a day, but this morning I get one saying I get an angiogram tomorrow with possible op on Wednesday, and he'll be having several coronary grafts. He has a family history, so you'll all look at him. He's slim and he eats good diet and he's fit, but he has a family history. So he had thought he'd be here today, but clearly he won't be, so I've been sending him all the regards of his fellow Rotarians for a speedy recovery. So that's an apology from Patrick for today. And thank you very much for stepping in, Francis. So now, Martin, would you like to take us through the fellowship?
You'll look at the pattern here. You've got to have Martin as your name. Can I have Martin McGolis and Martin Shaw to come up as well for this? All right. What we want to do and seek your help with is identification of people who could join us as members of the club. And this is, we're going to have to be very swift because this is technically the 5-minute talk. Before I invite Ramsey to outline what resources we have on the website to support recruitment, I just thought I'd put this in context. So what we've been trying to do, are you in control of this, Francis? Jump to the next one if you would. What we've been trying to do over the last year or so is lift the game for how we think about membership recruitment. I've spoken at one of these sessions before. We've challenged the club to have a bit of a target to grow the membership, and the rationale for that is both in terms of increasing the future sustainability of the club through increasing our diversity as a club, bringing in more people, but also to ensure that we're financially sustainable going forward. With numbers we are at the moment, we are sort of close to about break even in terms of the financial sustainability. So growing the club is important to us, recognising also that we inevitably have some turnover in the club. An active program of recruitment is pretty critical to us. So what we try to do is professionalise this a bit. What we want to do is invite everyone to think hard about who you know that might be a potential member, to have that and then actively drive recruitment. To do that, we've been doing a number of things, one of which is the work that Ramsey's been doing to enhance the resources that are available to you all to assist in bringing people into the club. So Ramsey, do you want to just comment on that?
Okay, thank you. Knock, knock. Who's there? Thank you. Sam and Janet. Sam and Janet, evening. You might meet a stranger and you might want to invite them to join the club. If you do, the first thing I think you might like to do is have some of these cards which you'll find in your pigeonhole with your name badges. Please take a couple, put them in your bag, put them in your wallet, wherever you keep your business cards. They're very useful. I'd love to show you. They basically have a QR code on. The first thing someone's going to say when you've asked them to join the club is, well, they're going to go around the corner, look at their phone and look at their website. And scanning this little square code will take them straight to the website, which is there. And it has on the back a list of a very small number of the activities that this club's been involved in. Other resources you'll find on the website, which is rcw.org.nz/join, you'll come across this text here, Making a Real Difference, which sets out what the club's been doing. Now, you can also download this flyer if you want to from that page. And this will be available on the welcome table along with 2 other flyers from next week. The first one is called Bringing New Members into the Club. It's very short, very small, and just gives you a step-by-step process. You'll find it out there each week. And the other one is what you hand to a friend. It's called Thinking About Becoming a Member. So when you bring someone along, please make sure in future when we have these out there that you give them a copy of that, Thinking About Becoming a Member when they leave. Thank you.
So the next bit is where you get to help us, collectively, us, and I'll get Jeff to outline what we need you to do.
So all of you have got 3 sheets on the, not 3 sheets to the wind, 3 sheets on your table. The hot list, warm and cool. Now the way we look at those is a hot list will be people that you know reasonably well that you should be getting along to one of these lunch meetings as the first step in the recruitment process, because we have some great speakers, and on President Carey's emails each week is a list of the upcoming speakers. We're going to enhance that list a little bit with some more information on those speakers, so it's a good opportunity to look and think, who do I know who would enjoy coming on to hear that speaker? So those are your hot list. If you've got somebody you think should be a member, your target should be getting those people along to a meeting within the next 30 days. So one of the next 4 meetings coming up, that should be the mission on that. On the warm prospects, you can put them down. There might be contacts for some reason you may not feel comfortable approaching them, or may want some support to do that. They may be a work colleague or otherwise that may be, that may be better somebody else talks to. We need that list. We can then talk to you about how best to approach that. And somebody actively involved with the membership committee will be involved in helping do that. So we're trying to be much more proactive. And cold, who else do you think we should have in this club that you don't necessarily know? Now guess what? Somebody else in the club knows them and hasn't thought of them. So we'll circulate the warm and cold lists among all the members, and we want you to look at that list and go, actually I know that person, I'll take responsibility for getting them along. So that's how we're going to work with them. So today you've got those lists on there. During fellowship, if you can all take a point of putting at least 1 or 2 names on each of those lists, that would be great.
All right, so Kerry, if you're happy with that, we might just use the fellowship time and encourage people to use the lists. And I wonder if that's the case, so we keep this seamless. Peter, if I could get you to come up now, and we'll just explain what we're going to do in the next month or so, just to continue the focus on membership recruitment.
As Helen will remind you, we've got Jumbo Tennis coming up. That's a great opportunity where we've got a lot of people who are not club members, but who are exposed to one of the events that Rotary runs. We'll certainly have a lot of flyers, a lot of other information which we'll be handing out in their packs, and we'll be talking to them as we have the opportunity. What we then want to do is sometime in March have a recruitment workshop or event that will hopefully bring along the people that you've got on your hot prospects, maybe some of the warm prospects, and just tell them a lot more about what goes on in the club, answer the questions they've got, and really start enthusing people and use it to try and get them to sign on the dotted line. So that'll be in March. More details to come as soon as we get things organised.
I should have introduced you as Martin. I know it's your middle name. Right, so Kerry, rather than gazump you, I really would encourage people to use the next few minutes that Kerry's going to give us for fellowship to put names on those sheets. Be ambitious, because really what we want is, in the balance of this year, we'd like to see 30 new members in the club. 30 new members is actually only, a third of the club bringing in a new member. So it's, something we can do. I think we can achieve it, but we require your cooperation with coming up with some names. So please use the fellowship time to put some names down. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. So on your desks is the forms, on your tables I mean. So we'll take a break now. I'll call you all back together about 1. So you've got 10 minutes to both get your dessert, cheese and biscuits and coffee, and to start filling out the contact form. Thank you.